Hey you guys, this is Orsi and this is going to be my last video of the year and a video that I plan to make, obviously, because it's the 31st. So happy new year, no matter when you're watching. It's gonna be a new year at some point. I was waiting for the dog to, stop barking, but she doesn't want to. And my nephew might, just runs into my room at some point and I will have to stop. Just, a warning. It's been a while that I sat down in front of the camera, that's for sure. What I wanted to share, as you can see from the title, is my year in cards, which I did for the second year now. And what I want to do next year. So what I did, I don't know if you watched last year, but I did almost for all days a daily pull. There were some weeks that things were heavy and I was not feeling like pulling a card for daily advice or just energy to work with, because I don't do daily pulls like what's gonna happen type of question. But then I sat down and I counted all the cards. It was fun. I need to come up with a better system to keep track of things throughout the year, so I don't have to just sit down and make a note of each card, because sometimes I wasn't sure if I already marked a card on the paper and I was like, I'm not going back and recount it. So it might not be completely 100% accurate, but the theme was very interesting because it gives back what actually happened throughout the year, what were the things that I was preoccupied with, which is very interesting because daily cards are not necessarily always gives you information about not in a way, if you do it, like just pull something to think about or work with that you would see in the moment. But it was true last year as well that the cards that were coming up the most, and I only counted the weekly and the daily pulls, not the extra readings that I was doing, because I feel like those are separate. And then I made notes. Again, I forgot how to speak in front of a camera. What was the most frequent card, which was the Chariot, which was so I chose the Light Year's Tarot to illustrate the cards. And the Chariot is very interesting because I don't necessarily feel like, or I didn't feel like I was making a lot of progress and going forward, but obviously I was. Now that I think back in the moment, I felt a lot of the times that I was stuck in situations, but those situations were created mostly by me, so whose fault is that? And the very interesting part was that equally the moon and the sun came out, because honestly there were so many times that I had no idea what was going on and I needed clarity, or I needed reassurance that like happiness is actually possible. So I find it Star was very closely behind the other two, but this I find very interesting, that the sun and the moon equally came up during the whole year, because like I said, there was a lot of times that I was not really sure about why I was going through certain things, but that was partially ignorance on my part. And that's why one of the other cards that was very frequent was the Hierophant, because it was a year of learning. But like I said, most of the situations that dealt with a big lesson to learn were absolutely facilitated by me. I'm thinking about relationship stuff. The cards were from day zero telling me not to invest in a relationship, which I did invest in, because I despite what the card was saying, because nothing bad was actually happening when the cards were already saying that nope, this is not gonna be a long-term thing, don't think about, like love or anything like that, it's not gonna happen. I At that stage I didn't know why or what possibly could be wrong with the relationship. I couldn't work, but then things started to happen, and it was not the person, it was just, well, the end was the person. let's not be too generous about it, how it ended was on him. But yeah, I kept hoping for something to happen, and I only mention it because from the cups suit, the two cards were that equally the most frequent were the Two of Cups and the Five of Cups. So yeah, I was mourning a lot of losses. There was a lot of pain I had to move on from, starting at the beginning of the year and then in the middle of the year, pretty much. So I'm not surprised, because relationships and feelings and what it means, and do I want one anymore, was heavily playing on my mind. And then I started university, and I was like, you know what, it's a good time to like actually take a break from all that. So, but yeah, it was heavily on my mind, and it still is, because reasons. The other thing that was interesting was the Three of Pentacles. And interesting in a sense that I remember that this card came up a lot, as in not to expect teamwork from certain situations. So it wasn't like a positive, reassuring card most of the time. Like, hey, yeah, you can, just, you can do it, work well with others, blah, blah, blah. It was more so about, nope, it's not that situation, don't expect it. So it was more of a warning. Most of my cards were, to be honest, more of a, hey, like, please realize what was going on. Ten of Pentacles was another pentacle card, but which, relates to the Two of Cups realm of things, so that was not surprising either. A Page of Swords, I was not really expecting it from the sword suit to be the page. But if I think about it, there was a lot of time that I had to investigate things. But like actually sit down and think through and see the details of not just about relationships, but in general, how I was feeling or what I was thinking about certain things. So that's not that surprising. What I was surprised by is the Knight of Wands. I was not expecting the Knight to come up most frequently from the Wands. I don't know why. There was a lot of sevens and nines, which I was expecting more so, but the Knight of Wands was like by far the most frequently drawn card from the one suit. And I think this is the card that's advice I wasn't really incorporating into life as much as I should have. Thinking back now, I think I should have been more creative and not let certain things just carry me with the everyday, like, like hamster wheel type of things feeling, which is one of the things that I would like to change for the next year, but we will see if I'm successful. But I need to be more conscious about not letting the everyday grind to just suck the life out of me and not do anything or not a lot that actually gives me joy, because it just makes it life so much harder for myself because I'm not doing a lot of things that I enjoy. And yes, I can, say that I'm doubly busy because university started and I have exams soon now as well. But that's not an actual excuse, but more so an explanation. But sometimes it's an excuse because I could have done more. And I was thinking about, like painting again and working on a deck that I started more than 2 years ago and stuff like that, but I just never did. So it's interesting that the cards were all along kind of encouraging me to do that. And I was, again, like I said, last year was a lot of times I was ignoring what was in the readings, which is a very interesting thing to actually realize. And I think that's why it's important to go back and look at your own readings after a while to see if you even took the advice that was given to you, or you're just, pulling cards and then in the moment find some relief that, okay, everything happens for a reason and this is why it's happening, and maybe think about it for a week or so on, but then forget about everything and just move on and live your life in a way that you're not incorporating the advice. Talking about just myself. So it was interesting that this year was harder, I think, because I was not doing as much tarot as it might have been useful. I didn't feel like doing tarot readings a lot, so I'm not saying that I was just, doing them and then ignoring them only on a daily basis. But I think this is what I'm relearning after what happened last year, that I need these readings and I need to sit down and just spend more time with myself. And the Hermit year is coming up, so it's gonna be perfect for it. Okay, so this is my year in cards pretty much, which I don't know if anybody else is doing, because I know that some people said that they're gonna do it after last year. So if you've done it, please do let me know, because I'm curious how everybody else is doing, how they feel the cards represented their year. And what I want to do for next year is, I've seen this one on Lisa Papez's channel last year, that she was pulling cards and putting them in envelopes for each month. And I was thinking about, that back then already, that it was a good idea, but I already did my whole 6 months ahead reading, so there was no need for, doing another set of cards. But what I realized is, when I do it in a way that my year ahead reading, that I can see all the cards, I start maybe expecting things to happen a certain way and maybe not doing something because I can see it in the cards. And if you're not doing the things, then they change and it's not gonna happen. Or I was just putting negative stuff already ahead of time into things, because I was like, but I can see that in October I'm gonna be like miserable because the Tower is the main energy. So it's like a hypochondriac, like a bit, which I can be. It's not good for me to see, in a sense, all the cards, but I think that it's helpful to have them. So I did what other people do as well, as put them in envelopes. They are not pretty, because I didn't have like better envelopes, but we will see how it will work out. I have Lisa's video, and Moran did one, Starseed Tarot, a video similar to this as well, but I haven't watched them because I didn't want to be influenced by their experience or their opinion. So I just, like first I wanted to do it. I have January. I haven't looked at all the cards. But what I did is I pulled, in this case, 2 Lenormand because I wanted to study Lenormand more in depth. I can't give up. I really want to learn Lenormand and it just escapes me. But I want to do it. I want to learn. So I was thinking, why not make things harder for myself? I put the main energy for the month as a Lenormand card. I understand that more than one, maybe 3 would have been more useful, but I don't have that many Lenormand decks, so I only have one. So I had to be like selective about what I use and how I use. So there's always 1 or 2 cards for the main energy, because sometimes, like for January, it was 2. Then a tarot or a few tarot cards to help me understand the main energy, and then the astro, I can't remember which one, but this beautiful oracle, because I still love it. I think it's just still looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at that. It screams tattoo me on myself somewhere. And I think it's whoever, I think the artist was a tattoo artist who designed the deck. As an extra, but what should I know? And Cancer is it's gonna be fun. Clarify is the other one, and Cancer Immerse is for January. So we're gonna do emotions still. Awesome. But yeah, so I'm very curious how this year is gonna play out. I'm hoping for things to change in certain areas of my life. We'll see. Not necessarily. I'm not necessarily the one who is in control of changing things in that area. But there are things that I would like to finish. I'm not gonna talk about them because then I'm not doing them. But yeah, this is gonna be the next year in envelopes, and we will see how it turns out. But I'm not promising anything, like when will I post, because like I said, I have exams. I have 3 exams left on the 7th and the 9th of January. Please send me good energy because I still haven't really studied for them. And then a lot of things are gonna, like happen school-wise, other areas that I'm not naming that specifically because, I don't want to jinx things. But yeah, we will see. I don't know, I can't say that I'm optimistic about the next year because I gave up being optimistic for a long time now. Because it never helped. It actually just set me up for feeling miserable about how the year turned out. I definitely feel like it's gonna be the hermit year for me. I already could feel that the shift happened around like the 21st of December, when I was planning on doing this yearly reading, but I was still so sick that I couldn't. I'm still a bit sick, but at least like much better than I was. But yeah, the introspective nature of the hermit energy or the hermit card is definitely, I can already feel it. So, and I it's funny because I was thinking about it, I think in the middle of the year, like this year, that the next year is going to be the hermit year, and it was a strength requiring year for sure. But I was quite sad about it because I felt like I'm gonna miss out on things, because I was like, oh, but I want to be more social and I want to do things more that connects to that area. But now that I'm in it, I'm actually very, very happy with the feeling that I have, the energy that I'm in. So, a lesson I should really learn is not to think about too much of the future, because it's pointless. It's just not ever gonna be like the way that I think it's gonna be. Will I learn that? I don't think so, but you know, I can try. But yeah, um, Happy New Year and see you soon, hopefully. I have a few new decks, so there's gonna be walkthroughs at least. Bye!